of surprised that we're here today talking about this? I mean, no. It's not a surprise. We saw this coming months ago, even as the haters, sent me emails. Airbnb hosts getting mad at me, typing away saying,
Orlando, what are you talking about? We're all good over here. Don't worry about us. Stay in your position. We don't have to worry about this. Airbnb has our best interest at heart, and the cities can't do anything. They can't control us. They can't kick us out.
Well, we're here today. Guys, we're gonna jump into it. My name is Orlando. Welcome to the channel, guys. As always, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. It does help out the channel. Also, check in the description, check in that pinned comment. I have a newsletter that we talk about things that I don't talk about in these videos or on this channel, guys. You will love it. It's free. How can you beat that? But let's jump into it. The end of Airbnb in New York. Thousands of Airbnbs and other short-term rentals are expected to disappear from the rental platform as New York City begins enforcing tight restrictions. Well, guys, hosts, listen, let's have a conversation here. I told you this was gonna happen. I told you guys the one thing that you guys have to really be careful of after you've charging people ridiculous cleaning fees, after you've did all these rules that you post everywhere, after you have these exorbitant, prices, $400 a night, to stay at a house in a suburb. After you do all of those things, I didn't say you had to worry about any of those things. The one thing that was at the very top of the list that I said Airbnb hosts have to worry about is the cities. The local government, no matter what you guys say, they don't really care about the fees. They don't really care about all the other stuff. The one thing they do care about? They care about taxes and money coming into the city. That's what they care about.
Pay me my money.
They care about the hotels, the zoning, and the tax cut that they gave to the hotels to make sure that people go to a designated area. And with Airbnb in this sector, it's cutting into that profit. It's basically making all the cuts that they gave to these hotels, it means nothing. They've basically lost all of the tax cuts.
I'm not playing these games.
All the sales tax, all poof, gone. And the city isn't gonna deal with that. So now we're here. It says thousands of Airbnb and short-term rentals are about to be wiped off the map in New York City. Local Law 18, which came into force Tuesday, is so strict. It just doesn't limit how Airbnb operates in the city. It almost bans it entirely for many guests and hosts. From now on, all short-term rental hosts in New York must register with the city, and only those who live in the place they are renting and are present when someone is staying can qualify. And people can only have 2 guests. I mean, that basically evaporates. That basically evaporates Airbnb hosts in New York City. You can't do it. Most of these guys are doing this arbitrage. Most of these guys have all these units, and none of them are living in there. I mean, they're not omnipresent. You can't be in all of these places at once. So what do you have to do? You gotta close down. And here's the thing. Guests do not want to have a roommate in the owner. Nobody wants to rent out an Airbnb and then have a guy stay in one of the rooms.
Awkward. So awkward.
No. I don't want that. That's not safe. That's not comfortable. You're gonna go to a hotel. And do you think... Because this is true, guys. Do you think that the New York City Council or the local government of New York City didn't know what they were doing? I'm getting a lot of emails saying
they made a mistake. The way that they wrote this law, they didn't understand what it was actually gonna do to New York City and the income of Airbnb. They don't understand that. And what they did was they accidentally put in this law and made a mistake. They're gonna go back and change it.
Right.
Oh, hosts. Let's have a talk. They didn't make a mistake. I'm sorry to let you know this. Let's just do a small assumption here. Do you think that they wrote the law and didn't proofread it, didn't read it multiple times, didn't send it to someone else to read, for someone else to read, for someone else to read? Do you think that's how it didn't go that way? You think someone wrote a law and just said, yep, this is good, no proofreading, no one else doesn't need to read it, we're just gonna pass it? That's not how it works. These guys knew exactly what they were doing. They knew it was gonna be so hard for you to operate that they said, this is what we want. This is how we're gonna kick these guys out and keep people going to a hotel, which in this particular situation is cheaper. You don't have to worry about the crime. You don't have to worry about all the noise in your neighborhoods, people pulling up and you don't even know who these people are. Keep your kids safe. I'm not saying that's everybody, right? But we do know that's a big issue in Airbnbs. Gone are the days of sleek downtown apartments outfitted with bachelor parties, cozy 2 to 3 bedroom apartments near museums for families, and even the option for people to rent out their apartment on the weekends when they're away. While Airbnb, Vrbo, and others can continue to operate in New York, the new rules are so tight that Airbnb sees it as a de facto ban on its business. Well, it is. Let's be real, guys. It is a ban. The whole point is to get rid of you. That's the point. They want you to get out of here.
Get out of here!
Airbnb is also popular with some of the 66 million visitors a year looking for accommodations that are cheaper and sometimes larger than hotels. In 2022 alone, short-term rental listings made 85 million in New York. The city might be a relatively small slice of Airbnb's global market, but the new rule shows how local governments, now let's listen to this, guys, how local governments can effectively stamp out short-term rentals overnight and lessen their impact on dense residential areas. And New York City is just one of many cities around the world trying to calm the short-term rental gold rush. Now, guys, again, hosts, individuals who are guests in Airbnb, I get it. You were trying to make money. You were trying to take advantage of the short-term rental rush. Think about this. We have to admit how Airbnb has caused trouble in residential neighborhoods. I mean, I'll just take myself for example. I would never, listen to me, the words that are coming out of my mouth. I would never want an Airbnb neighbor. Never. Why would I want every weekend I get to have a brand new person living next to me?
Good morning, neighbor.
It would be a nightmare. It truly would. And I know there's going to be someone type it in the comment section. Orlando, I would never mind that. I actually think it would be great. Well, I'm glad that's good for you. You could have an Airbnb property next to yours and you could have someone come in and out every weekend, have parties.
We are tonight's entertainment.
You know, maybe have some crime. Because here's the thing. I'm not saying every guest that goes to an Airbnb is going to make noise or going to cause crime. But the chances of that happening after you having, I don't know, 100 people live in that house, it's going to be pretty high. Not the same neighbor. It's 100 different neighbors in a year. What are the chances that one of those individuals causes something crazy to happen? It seems high to me. I mean, I'm no, the math is the math, right? Think about that. And so a lot of people are having issues with that when when you buy your home, you're in a residential area and there's parties happening, there's crimes happening, there's people driving fast down the street.
Neighbors who live here are fed up with the noise. They're tired of hearing this.
It's an unsafe environment. It really is. And it's becoming more and more popular. This is starting to happen more and more and more. We're starting to see shootings and things like that start to happening more and more and more. So you don't think that the city is gonna jump in and say, we have to do something about this? We're not gonna let a company come in and basically take over our city, knock down tourism, knock down people living here, because that's really the key, guys. I know a lot of people think that tourism is like number one, but you know what's better than tourism? People living there. I know that's crazy. Your kids going to school there, businesses and grocery stores in the area. That's what makes an area, not just a tourism hub, 100% tourism, because that's not how it works. People want to come to the area because there's stuff there. But if no one wants to live there, period, if no one wants to live there, then there's really no point. And the city wants people to live there before tourism. And everyone's taking a different approach. Dallas has limited short-term rentals to certain neighborhoods to avoid disruptive and dangerous parties. Elsewhere, Canadian province of Quebec, Memphis, Tennessee, among others, now require licenses for short-term rentals. In San Francisco, the amount of time someone can list their entire residence for rent on an Airbnb is limited to 90 days a year. Amsterdam puts a limit at 30 nights per year. Paris at 120 nights. Berlin previously banned nearly all Airbnbs, but walked back the decision in 2018. So guys, listen, host, as you send me and get mad and send me emails and DMs and tell me, you know, I'm wrong and oh man, Orlando, what are you talking about? You're just an Airbnb hater. And I'm like, no, I'm just telling you exactly what's happening, guys.
These ain't opinions. These are facts.
I mean, how obvious is it? If you're a host, shouldn't you be thinking that, oh man, it's getting tight out here, man. You know, these cities are really coming down on us. Instead of being in denial and thinking,
wow, these cities don't have any power. They can't stop us. It's Airbnb for life. Airbnb is gonna save us, and I'm going to continue making the same amount of money that I have always made. Matter of fact, it's gonna go higher. Matter of fact, people will pay even double what I'm charging now.
That's stupid. Use your common sense.
That's actually what a lot of Airbnb hosts that email me say. They think that it's only to the moon from here. They think that governments don't have control over their city and that a corporation like Airbnb will stomp out any power that the local governments have. But, because there's always a but we're seeing exactly the opposite. And I'm here to tell you guys, the Airbnb host, listen to me real quick. Let me just make some sense to you. You're never going to beat the city. The city will make rules that do anything to protect their investment in their city, the tax money that they're giving, the infrastructure that they've put in. And if anything comes in the way of that, they will wipe it off. Wipe it off the map.
Get out, get the hell out of here.
And that's what's happening in New York City. And that's what's happening in Dallas. That's what's happening in San Francisco. That's the reason why all of these cities are coming against Airbnb, because it's getting ridiculous. And not only is Airbnb having to deal with the cities, now you're having to deal with the revolt from the customers. Customers are saying, man, I'm gonna stay at the Marriott. I ain't gotta worry about no crime. I ain't gotta worry about $600 cleaning fees. I don't have to worry about all these rules that you guys are, and then you guys are charging more? Heck, that's the reason why I got on Airbnb, that I decided to do Airbnb. It was cheaper. But now you're not even cheaper? You're more expensive than an actual hotel? Oh, no. You guys are shooting yourself in the foot. The whole point of someone choosing an Airbnb is for it to be cheaper. And if you're no longer cheaper, you're gonna lose a consumer. You just lost your customers. And it now gives the cities more ammo, because now, not only do they have the citizens of that city, but now they have customers on their side, and it's a losing battle for Airbnb hosts. So Airbnb hosts, I'm sorry to let you know, this isn't the last time that you're gonna have to deal with this. And unfortunately, it's time to wrap up. We gonna have to get lean, because there's gonna be a lot of these Airbnb properties that come back on the market.
Hey, I'm out of this game. I'm putting the property up for sale.
And this is what I've been talking about, guys, when I'm saying it's gonna add some inventory. Maybe not a ton of inventory, but it's going to add inventory to the market, because a lot of these property owners are gonna say,
the Airbnb game isn't what it used to be. It's too hard. The city is against me. The customers are against me. I'm out.
It's funny because it's true.
So I hope you got value out of this content, guys. And as always, you won't get all of your information from this one video. I need you to watch this next video here. It will give you information on the housing market, financial news, and get into your first rental property. You can't beat that, guys. And the information you will get from that, it will be gold. I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.